I am going to bring enlightenment when it comes to the rapture. Most people have read in the Bible about the rapture. They have read the entire Bible. They have read and analyzed the words of the Bible, but without experience. Only few can tell you that everything the Bible has said, they have experienced it for themselves. In this video, I am not going to explain the rapture from what I have read in the Bible or from other books. I am going to explain it from deep down in the depths of my soul, because it is what I have experienced while I was in a deep meditative state and up out of my body. When it comes to vibration, in the vibratory state, as you meditate deeper and deeper down into yourself, the vibratory rate of the physical body accelerates to a higher frequency, connecting you to infinite intelligence, or in other words, God. In the high vibration, your sins are totally removed and cleansed. The higher I vibrated, the less sin I had. I went to the point where I had 99% no sin, because sin is what keeps us trapped on the earth. Without sin, I felt like I was going to be vanished off the planet. Now, in the movies or in the scriptures or from persons' belief, they believe that when they are caught up in the rapture, the body is going to go with them. But I am here to say to you from experience that this is not so. During death, if the person has vanished during death, but the body remains in the physical world, but if the body could go with that dead person in the process of death, then at death we wouldn't see any physical body, because the body would vanish with them, because the soul has vanished from this world. So therefore, the body would go with them. But because the body is dense and of a lower vibrational frequency, it cannot go with the soul or with the spirit. So therefore, it is left back in this world. So in the movies where we see people vanishing and only the clothes leave behind, yes, they have vanished. The soul, the real you, which is inside of you, has vanished. But the physical body, which is not the real you, the physical body is only a shell. That shell is left behind because it is solid, dense, and of a lower vibrational frequency. So therefore, it cannot cross over to the other side. The physical world and the spiritual world is separated by a line. One is of a lower vibration and one is of a higher vibration. So therefore, only the soul, which is of a higher vibration, can cross over to the other side, which we call the spiritual world or heaven. But the body, the tangible body that we see, is left behind. So in this rapture, it is like there is an energy from down from the base of the spine or the sexual area. This energy is awakened as a serpentine energy, travels through the 7 major energy centers within the body, known as chakras, enter the pineal gland, and come up through the crown of the head. And it feels as if your head is being raised, or as if you are growing into a giant up into the spiritual world. So it is like as if you have stooped down and then you stand up into a giant. So our soul, our real inner self resembles a giant. Also, the breath comes up out of the mouth into a heightened state and you go up. This is what you call the rapture. So it is as if there is a whirlwind pulling you up, or as if you are uprooting a tree. You are uprooting that tree. So there's an energy, that high vibration. It is stronger than the lower vibration. So it is as if there is a mighty force or the mighty hand of God pulling you or plucking you up out of this body, and you ascend rapidly into that higher vibration. The higher you vibrate, the harder it is for you to come down back to the lower vibration. Only a person who have mastered the ascended state or the high vibratory state knows how to come back down on the earth, because I know how to ground back the body, the soul, back into this body by using food, certain foods, sugar, or water to ground back that energy or breath down back into the body. So during rapture, what will happen is that the soul is what is going to be caught up in the rapture and not in the physical body. Because as I have pointed out early on, is that during death, that person has vanished from this world. But if the body could vanish with that soul, then you wouldn't see a physical body after death, because it would vanish with the soul. But because this is not the case, then this body is left behind and the soul vanishes. So what if I tell you that we all can vanish from this world? Persons would be surprised and say that I am crazy. But it is possible for us all to vanish when we have died, because the soul is not of this dimension in it, and it is of a higher vibrational frequency. So therefore, when it has detached from this body, it is not seen anymore. So we also have the concept that when something disappears, it really disappears. It doesn't disappear. It only starts to vibrate at a higher frequency than our physical senses can perceive. But if we tune in our senses to those higher vibrational frequency with the pineal gland, then we could actually see the so-called invisible, or what we call spiritual. So therefore, nothing is invisible or spiritual. We only characterize something as spiritual or invisible because the physical senses cannot perceive what is beyond the physical world. When it comes to the fear virus, what we see happening is that we are in a state of fear and panic. But where there is light, there is also shade or darkness. And where there is darkness or shade, there is always light. There are parallel worlds. So therefore, anything that we see happening here on the physical earth, there is a balancing force of evil to balance out good. And there's also a balancing force of good to balance out evil. So it is like light and dark, or light and shade, the twin. So if you see what this fear virus is doing, it is actually waking up people at an unprecedented rate. And that is what they won't be able to control. The more you push something to the edge of the precipice or to the edge of the cliff, you force that thing to look inwards. You force people to look into themselves and see what is currently taking place. In all the desperation and the impatience of the so-called elite, who are only the temporary rulers of this earth, their plan or strategy is only being backfired on them, because for every cause there is a reaction. So anything that they do to the human race is going to backfire at them, and they know that nothing comes without a price. You have to pay the consequence for every action that you commit. So everything that they do, if they take a shot at you, it is going to be repaid equal to the force that they exerted. So we have nothing to worry about. although we have to keep educating ourselves, keep researching, and keep meditating, but at the same time, we have the victory, because anything that is done to us, it is going to be repaid to them in full price. Because a lot of people who wasn't awakened probably a year or two ago, because of this fear virus, they are being awakened to what is happening. So we are in the age of enlightenment, and all over the world, I know that there are sleepers still in the world, people who sleep, people who close down their minds, but there are still millions of people out there who are waking up slowly, and some who are waking up rapidly. And the awakening process, once it has begun, it cannot be stopped or controlled, because it is like a domino effect. One domino tumbles down all the other dominoes. So therefore, once as you start the awakening process, you will become suspicious of the government. You will become suspicious that there is something wrong with this world, but you cannot put your fingers on it. The thing is that that is what is going to drive you and propel you, compel you to seek the truth. And the truth shall be upon the earth like sand on the seashore, and it cannot be tamed, it cannot be controlled, and it cannot be hidden for long. It cannot be censored, because the thing is that they are trying to censor the truth, but it keeps coming up. It keeps coming up because we are in the age of enlightenment, and they cannot stop this process. So all that they are trying to do will be in vain. So thank you for watching, and please don't forget to click the subscribe button. Until next time.